We're getting new information in right now about what exactly happened during Biden's FBI. And it's not pretty. And remember what my friend Dan said, maybe this is a couple of months ago on Fox and Friends. I want to take you back to this point in time because it's all coming to fruition. It is all coming out, ladies and gentlemen.
Of Jim Comey, because he cannot control himself and his emotions. He is a child. He is a big child. And let me tell you one more thing. Look at Jim Comey, who wants you to believe. Jim Comey taking a shot at the president. Oh, look at me. I'm such a victim. The president's going after me. He's making a ton of money on this book. The only person that got prosecuted was the president. Jim Comey, we're finding stuff even now. Wait till you read the stuff that's coming out.
Does he still have loyalists in the building? Because when I hear the FBI director saying, you guys are finding boxes that are hidden. Okay, how does that happen in the Bureau?
Well, we were there a couple of weeks, and luckily there were a lot of people up there who grabbed us by the arm the minute we came in and said, thank you for being here. We need to talk. There are people there who are really horrified at what happened. And there was a room, and we found stuff, a lot of stuff.
A hidden room.
I wouldn't call it hidden, but hidden from us at least, and not mentioned to us. And then we found stuff in there, and a lot of it's from the Comey era, and we are working our damnedest right now to declassify. And just so you know, because I get the public, I totally understand people saying, well, do it now. The process is not all the information is ours to declassify. Some is other intelligence agencies. It's not, we literally can't do it. Once that gets done and that gets out there and you read some of the stuff we found that, by the way, was not processed through the normal procedure, digitizing it, putting in FBI records. We found it in bags hiding under Jim Comey's FBI. Quickly, you're going to be stunned.
The shells on the beach. Can you not talk to social?
So remember those shells on the beach? This was right after the shells on the beach that he actually came forward and said all this. And this is important, right? Because Comey had 86 Donald Trump. I mean, it was kind of really kind of cryptic. I mean, Donald Trump had been, let's just be really frank. Look, we just went through Charlie, okay? Donald Trump had been twice the target of assassination attempts, and one was nearly successful. So if you're the former head of the FBI, you think you run around with taking a pretty shell picture of 86 Donald Trump? No, you don't. That's really cryptic and really, really poor taste and beyond bad. Beyond bad. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard was calling for him to be jailed right after that. I mean, she's got no use for the guy because she knew what he was up to. And now it's all coming out. So Dan was warning, and then Dan went again, maybe about 6 weeks ago, and said there's a whole bunch more coming. And he said Letitia James. He said Adam Schiff. He said James Comey, okay? So granted, I'm well-sourced, but this is out in the open. This is out in the open, and Adam Schiff is expected to be next as Bongino and Cash start clearing and cleaning house. Jack Smith, what the heck was that about? What would you be doing? We can't use the term wiretapping because PBS is going to get all mad. PBS did a big story in New York Times too. Oh, the right keeps saying it's wiretapping, and it's not wiretapping, it's tolling. Nobody uses the word tolling, okay? So let me explain to you the difference. If you're tolling someone's phone, it means you find out who they're talking to, how long they're talking to them, and where they're talking to them from, the location as well as the location of the other person, okay? It doesn't mean you're actually listening to the conversations, but you get all the other information that you're out there gathering. So this was what was put in place by someone at the FBI during J6. And then guess who decided to continue it? Jack Smith in his special investigation. And so here's the question. If you're intercepting and tracking the private communications of so many GOP senators, sitting U.S. senators, during and after the J6 probe, then did you get the proper clearance for that? Did you get the FISA warrant? Did you get the proper, there's a whole slew of things that you're actually supposed to get, but, I don't know if they did any of that. And so now some senators are saying, hey, Senator Kennedy's like, you know what? We're going to have to go after the phone companies. They're not going to like this very much. Pam Bondi, be on high alert because the phone companies may actually start coming after you because they're not going to want to be held liable because they turned over precious private information from sitting U.S. senators. Apparently, they just folded, kind of like, we saw a lot of companies fold back in the day, did we not? Tons of that going on. All right, so here's the memo that the FBI has released, and it has all the names of the senators that they target. Cynthia Loomis is on there. She's like, hey, I want to know what my civil rights are. Can I sue them on a civil level, because this is not in any way, shape, or form okay what they were doing. Again, you got to have certain kinds of clearance. But this Arctic frost thing was going on where we don't know. It seems like they may have done some things that they shouldn't have. I mean, this is like COINTELPRO, which happened back under Hoover's FBI and continued right through the 60s until finally you had whistleblowers coming forward, like Dan was talking about. Dan said when they got to the FBI, people were like, oh, thank goodness, because there's been all this crazy stuff happening. And it's all in this room, right? Here you go. Here's all the documents. Here's what you need to know. So a few whistleblowers were coming forward, just like in COINTEL. They came forward, okay, and they exposed what our government was doing. Martin Luther King was one of the victims of that. So you need a court order. You need a subpoena. You need a FISA warrant, or you need an NSL, a National Patriot Letter, security letter under the USA Patriot Act. I don't know if they had any of this stuff. It's all coming forward right about now, and this is a big freaking deal.
We now know the secret's out. Everything Joe Biden told us, that it was a conspiracy to think his family was a conspiracy theory to think his family was doing anything wrong. His own government knew that his son was involved with a corrupt company, and it was hurting the American public and American policy.
Yeah, I mean, that was another part of it too, with the CIA having sent a memo saying, you know what, this is not a good idea to Hunter Biden. This is back in the Obama term, right? Hunter Biden is doing business with Burisma. The Ukrainians don't like it very much because Hunter Biden is working with a corrupt company, all while Joe Biden is telling them to stop being so corrupt. I mean, messed up, right? But I digress. Back to, for a moment, what's going on. Senator you got Grassley, you got Senator Johnson, you got Grassley. They want answers right now, because it is not okay to learn that multiple sitting U.S. senators were being told, all right, they were getting their phones, we can't say wiretapped because PBS and the New York Times are going to accuse us of fake news, so let's use the proper terminology, told, or as Fox reported, this is probably the easiest way to say it, they had their communications intercepted. And by the way, they weren't the only ones, okay? They were targeting 92 different groups, all with conservative affiliation, grassroots efforts, including my friend Charlie Kirk's group at Turning Point. This is bonkers.
It's a major development. You're taking a look at a letter right there that was just sent to the FBI Director Kash Patel and the Attorney General Pam Bondi. What does it say? It says that Congress has obtained evidence that shows that the Biden White House was directly involved in trying to help start Jack Smith's investigation on the January 6th probe against President Trump. Specifically, that the White House counsel's office secretly obtained President Trump's and Vice President Mike Pence's former phones and giving them to the prosecutors, basically sicking the Justice Department on his future competitor, his future rival in the 2024 election, so that they could look for dirt for possible crimes. There's a lot more coming in. There's a lot of other evidence as well of the White House involvement.
There's a lot more coming. I mean, I can tell you that as well. And my sources say plenty more coming. It's all coming out. That's the good news. I mean, I think about what would have happened if we weren't in this situation, if we didn't actually know. That would be a really bad position for all of us, would it not? But again, back to how could this possibly have occurred? I mean, this is the question that Kennedy's asking, Senator Kennedy, to Pam Bondi this week in the hearings. Not that anybody in the mainstream media reported on any of this. No, they want to tell you this is no big deal. It was just tolling of phones. You can't toll someone's phone. You can't interrupt private communications to figure out who Cynthia Loomis or Marsha Blackburn or Josh Hawley are talking to on any given day. You can't go around as Jack Smith or the federal government or the FBI and be trying to locate where all these people are. I mean, the vice president of the United States as well had his phone intercepted. This is bonkers. Okay, like this is one side completely weaponizing itself against the other. And they wanted to do this all in the name of democracy to preserve the United States of America because after J6, well, they had to, right? I mean, if you looked at Alexandra Pelosi's footage, the daughter of Nancy, then yeah, you didn't have a choice. Anyway, let's go to Kennedy, who's making some really good points and some funny ones at that. He's pretty priceless.
But the phone company and the general counsel for the phone company, or companies, if there were more than one involved, could say, you know, this is serious as an aneurysm. This is serious as 4 heart attacks and a stroke. This is a sitting United States senator. So general counsel would likely advise the CEO, well, you need to file a motion to quash.
Senator, typically phone companies follow a subpoena from a United States
I know they
attorney.
do, but they don't have to.
They could challenge it, Senator.
Yeah. Or maybe they should have gone to Amazon and buy some testicles online.
I told you.
Instead of just saying, sure, I'll just show you the phone records of a sitting United States senator on the basis of an administrative subpoena.
And yet, no one's covering this, right? Nobody is covering this, and he's not done.
Now, do you have copies of the subpoena applications for
Yes,
these
Senator, I can't discuss anything regarding this.
You can't
case
even
with
tell me
you.
if you have copies?
I can't discuss any of this.
All right, when are you going to, General, when are you going to be able to discuss it?
I can't discuss whether there is or is not a pending investigation,
I understand,
Senator. This
but
was
let's
just
assume
brought to light
if
by
there is a
Director
pending
Patel.
investigation, I don't want this to get swept under the rug, okay?
No.
Because I think you're going to get pushed back from all quarters. I think the telecommunication companies are going to be all over you like a bad rash because they got liability here
Yep.
for just turning over these records
Yep.
when they knew what was going on. I think some FBI agents may have some liability here.
I think so.
I think a special counsel might have some liability here.
Jack Smith, we're looking at you.
If I were your special counsel and you had appointed me and I wanted to get the records of a sitting United States senator, is that something you would expect me to tell you as Attorney General of the United States?
They better have.
Yeah.
And
Do we know in this instance of the 8 sitting United States senators if they told Attorney General Garland?
Senator, I just learned about this very recently, as did Director Patel, and we cannot discuss the details. I don't know many of the details.
Well, maybe we ought to get Attorney General Garland here.
Yeah.
Do you know the special counsel told FBI Director Wray?
We need Director Ray there,
Is that
too.
something? Let me put it another way. If I were your special counsel and you were the director of the FBI and I'm trying to get the phone records of a sitting United States senator, did I mention it was a sitting United States senator? Is that something that you would expect me to tell you as director of the FBI?
Hell
In
yeah.
general, I would
okay?
read the FBI
Hell
would help.
Yeah. This is bonkers. Okay? And yet, again, no one's covering it except for the New York Times and PBS to say we're making something out of nothing because it wasn't wiretapping. They're like focusing on that word wiretapping. Well, let me tell you, it was interception, all right? Interception of private communications with sitting U.S. senators. Like, that's not okay. That's not cool. And if I'm Josh Hawley or I'm Marsha Blackburn or I'm Cynthia Loomis, I am livid.
Manner of things and the current president. I've also heard them said, and I just wrote it down because I wanted to be sure I heard it correctly. I've heard them say that Joe Biden never targeted his political enemies. Joe Biden never directed his attorney general to target his political opponents. That's interesting because I could have sworn that yesterday we learned that the FBI tapped my phone. Let's look at it. We've got a list. Tap my phone. Tapped Lindsey Graham's phone, tapped Marsha Blackburn's phone, tapped 5 other phones of United States senators. Gee, it sure looks like targeting political opponents to me, and yet I haven't heard a word from that side of the dais about any concern whatsoever. We've got nothing but concerns today, but no concern at all for a Justice Department that is tapping the phones of sitting United States senators because who knows why? They don't like them. They're members of the opposition party. They're Republicans. They're conservatives. You've seen this document, Attorney General Bondi. Well, what was going on here? Who ordered this? Who ordered the tapping of the phones of United States senators?
Senator Hawley, I cannot discuss the details of that right now for very good reason.
You're going to do a thorough investigation into this, I trust. Is that correct?
We will be looking at all aspects of this, and I have talked to Director Patel at length about
And
this.
you're going to figure out who was involved in this, who signed off.
We need to know. We need to know because their civil rights were violated. There are various acts. We've talked about it, the Wiretap Act, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. You've got state privacy and eavesdropping laws. They can't do this. They did it anyway. Now, what authorization did they have? And why did everybody just fold and go along with it? Back to Kennedy's point. It's a good one, okay? There are rules and there are laws, and they're there for a reason to protect us against big government gone wild. Obama went wild. I mean, he got a little taste of it, right? Remember with his IRS targeting Tea Party groups? And then Biden comes along and they use J6 as the reason to be able to go and do anything and everything they want. Cancel culture on steroids. God help you if you weren't okay with a man having a baby. Pregnant man emoji, right? God help you if you weren't okay with a naturally born male competing against your daughter on the track team. Oh, you were the problem. If you showed up at a school board meeting saying, I really don't think it's appropriate to be having boys compete against girls in sports, well, whoa, you were the problem. If you were going to Mass in Latin, you were the problem. And if you were a sitting U.S. senator that supported Donald Trump, you were the problem and they had the right to go after you? No, they didn't. We're going to get to the bottom of this. I'm telling you, it is just the beginning. This is massive, okay? This is massive. This is historic. We are on the front lines of history and we are not stopping. Not for 1 minute here on the Trish Regan Show. It's all getting exposed.